What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good today. So we are back for another video. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my breakdown on AT&T, my thoughts, what I'm going to do with it going forward, my strategy, all that good stuff. Before I begin, I am long AT&T, and a fun fact, AT&T was a very first stock I ever purchased with M1 Finance, and so far it's been pretty good. Now, before you do anything, another disclaimer, talk to a professional advisor. This is not investing advice. This is only for fun and entertainment purposes. You are required to do your own research, your own due diligence, and come to your own conclusions on what you want to invest in. Now, with that being said, this is my Twitter page. If you guys aren't already following me on Twitter, what are you waiting for? We're already a little bit over 300 followers. Thank you to everybody who's been following, who's been commenting, who's been engaged. Really appreciate the support. The fam over here has been top-notch, good quality, nice folks. People are mostly nice. Now, if you do follow me on Twitter, I post pretty regularly. When I get my dividend payments, you'll see them here. Throughout the day, if I see news about the stock market, I put it here. When I go to the gym, I post it here. That way you guys can kind of get my mindset where I'm at and keeping your fitness level up, going to the gym, taking care of your health, all that good stuff. And yeah, just follow. It's easy. And also too, if you have any messages you want to send, Twitter is probably the best way to do it. I do check it more frequently, and I'll respond to you in an appropriate manner. With that being said, this video was inspired by a young man. His name is Christian. Thank you, Christian, for this recommendation for what you wanted to see. And he's okay with the shout out. He told me he's good with it. He's cool, no issues. So this is for Christian. And I'm going to give you my breakdown and give you my thoughts on AT&T. Alright, let's go. Alright, so first thing I do is I go into Google, I type in AT&T. This is, the ticker symbol is T. And AT&T is a telecommunications company. It's an American multinational conglomerate holding company, Delaware registered, but headquartered at Whitaker Tower in downtown Dallas. Now, this is basically the same thought process with most stocks I look into. I come to Google, I type it, and the good thing too is down here it will show you companies that are similar. So obviously, telecommunications, we all know Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T are the big three, and I'll go over Verizon and T-Mobile at the very end, just to kind of give you guys an overview for how I look at things. As you can see, I look at the chart. Now, AT&T's chart is not the best, to be average. I like charts that are continually growing over time. AT&T has kind of been up and down and up and down, and it's not really a growth stock at this point. However, look at their market cap, $212 billion. That's a major market cap. That's a huge cap. PE ratio of 18, which in this case is decent, and it's been around $30 for a while now. Dividend yield is very high though, almost 7%, so that's a very high dividend yield. And I'm going to go back just to show you guys the 1 year chart. As you can see, early 2020, before the whole bug went down, it was around $38, almost $40 a share. So now it is kind of cheaper than usual. 52-week low is 26. 52-week high is almost 40, as I had just mentioned. Now, after I do that, I say, okay, it's been around for a long time. Market cap of $213 billion, so it's a mega cap. Dividend yield is 7%, which is very good. That's one of the higher ones, and actually one of the highest in the dividend aristocrat camp, which I will show you guys in a minute. So that's step one. Go to Google, search your company, and look at their chart. Like I said, the chart isn't great, but because it has a high market cap and dividend yield, I know the company pretty well. I'm familiar with it. I go to step two, which I come over here, dividend channel. Again, this is completely free. You don't have to pay for this. You just type in your symbol, which for this one is T, and I like it. Gives a nice breakdown. Tells you about the company. AT&T is a holding company through its subsidiaries, is a provider of telecommunications, media, and technology. Communication segment provides wireless and wireline telecom, video, and broadcast services. The segments include media and entertainment business that primarily develop, produce, and distribute feature film, television content, and other content globally, and operate digital media properties. Latin America segment provides entertainment service in Latin America and wireless service in Mexico. And the segment relies on using data from its customer relations to develop digital and video advertising that is relevant to consumers. Now that's something, if you didn't know, now you know. They operate in Latin America and Mexico as well. It's always nice to see a major company in different countries. It shows that there's other markets that are potentially growing. That's a good thing to keep in mind going forward. Now, one thing I do like about this website, it shows you the dividend history chart. Now, as you can see, since 2008, the dividend has been growing, but it's kind of slow, but it's been growing. It's steady. I like that. I want a company that grows its dividend, and it shows you here since 2000, before. So 1995 is when they started their first dividend payment, and this is what I do. I go through it. As you can see, it increases, and then something happened in the early 2000s, probably the dot-com crash. Maybe they were doing other stuff. The dividend got cut, and it kept going up, and they have not cut their dividend since, which is a good sign, but the growth is pretty small. It's not a whole lot. So that's my step 2. I come to this website, dividend channel, get some more information, check out the chart, and then also here it's pretty nice. It shows you some more information as well. The dividend frequency, so in case you're wondering, all right, how often does this thing pay its dividend? This one is quarterly. Most stocks pay quarterly. Some are going to pay you monthly, some pay semi-annually, but this one pays quarterly. Market cap, it just confirms 212 billion, and it tells you when you're going to get your dividend payment. Ex-dividend date was July 9th, and the payment date is August 3rd. That's when you would get paid out by AT&T if you own the share. So next thing we do is another good website I like to use, Simply Safe Dividends. This one is free for the trial, and then you have to sign up if you want to use it after that. Now, Dividend Safety has a score of 65, so it's safe. The yield, as I had mentioned, is almost 7%. Dividend growth is 2% last year, which is very slow. It is a mega cap, almost $30 a share. Volatility is about average. Now, if you go down here, it tells you information about the safety. Here we go. It's been safe. They've been updating it since last year. And last year, 2019, it was a telecom dividend aristocrat in transition. Now, the one issue, in case you guys haven't heard, is they have a lot of debt. I'll go over that in a little bit. So payout ratio is about 59%, which is low for telecommunications. Forward payout ratio is 67, 8 edging high for telecom. And net debt to EBITDA edging high for telecom. Low for telecom is net debt to capital. Now here's a good sign though. This is good. Dividend streak 36 plus years without a reduction, which is good. They have not been reducing it. Now recession dividend, it's increased during the Great Recession in 2007 through 2009. Recession sales, it's dropped in sales. Recession return, it's dropped. Now if you go further down, dividend growth, last year was about 2%, which is slow. Actually very slow. Last 5 years, 2%, very slow. Last 20 years, 4%, slow. Here's the chart. It has been growing steadily. Like I said, it's just not the fastest growing dividend. 36 years of consecutive increases, 36 years without a reduction. And down here as well, it will tell you how much you're going to be getting per share. So you're going to get $2.08 per share per year that you own. And in case you guys don't know, I was not the best at math, guys, okay? Math was my worst subject. I used to always go to summer school for math. However, when it comes to dividends, I can be good at math. Now, if AT&T costs $30 a share at the time of this recording, you have 10 shares, that's $300, which means your dividend payment will be $20 per year. That's not bad. Now, you gotta keep in mind though, going forward, how strong of a conviction do you have for the company? That's where you got to do all your additional research. And if you go further down, all the financials, you got to look at all this stuff. It's very important. That's my one biggest mistake early on, is I didn't go through this stuff as well as I should have. The earnings call, earnings report, the payout ratio, the free cash flow, all this information. I'm not going to go over all this stuff because this video is going to be 2 or 3 hours long. However, the sales growth, the earnings per share, shares outstanding, total sales, all this stuff you really have to go into and decide for yourself if the numbers make sense to you before you make any decision. There's a few companies that, I'll be honest with you guys, I jumped into them because they look good, but when I didn't dive deep into them, and that's why some of those companies are in the red for me now. You learn as you invest. So my goal for you guys is to learn from the mistakes that I made so that you guys can be more critical and you can look for things that I did not look for, so you can avoid having to learn a lot of the stuff I had to learn and be in the red with certain companies. But that's how you can calculate if the payment is worth it for you, how much you're going to need to invest in order to get dividends. So that's what I would look at if you're considering that. Now, here's another thing that I do. AT&T is a telecom company, right? Now, I want to know what the best companies are that are in the telecom industry. So as I was telling you, you got T-Mobile, Verizon. I don't know what these companies, Shena does something. I think that's a foreign company. Yeah, Changhua Telecom, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I don't know what a lot of these companies are. I know Verizon, I know T-Mobile, and I know AT&T. Those are the big phone markets in the US. I know obviously you got Mint Mobile and these other stuff, but just keep it simple. Don't keep it complicated. I would go into those three and decide, okay, out of those three, if I'm thinking the telecom industry is going to be a good industry for me, those are what I'm going to be looking at. Those are the big three. Okay, after you establish that, I went on Google to see what the latest articles are. You can go and adjust over here. Let me show you guys. If you go under tools, you can search for how long you want to see the information, the news. I usually go past week, past month, past year, just so I kind of have a good variety of information to work with. And these were the top articles that came up. AT&T says FirstNet is faster than company's own core network. So I don't know what that is, but I can learn more about it and see, okay, how is that going to influence my decision with AT&T going forward? And also, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, 5G is going to be big in a couple years, maybe sooner. AT&T is one of the leaders in 5G. What's my thought on 5G? I would do research on 5G, see how it works, how much faster it's going to be, all that good stuff. So AT&T is in the process of transitioning FirstNet to 5G. However, it is currently using LTE technology. According to Stevens, FirstNet has 1.5 million connections and is authorized for use by more than 13,000 government agencies. Okay, so that's interesting. Now we continue on here. 5G, here we go. Stevens also addressed AT&T's 5G rollout. The company announced July 23rd that its 5G is available nationwide, covering 205 million consumers. He also said that AT&T saw a big appetite for consumers for the 5G devices during the end of June, and he expects for that to continue. Cable competitors, so you can see other competitors. So 5G, AT&T is in 5G. Another one, now this is not really good news, but something to keep in mind. AT&T to lay off 600 HBO and Warner Bros. After revenue decline. AT&T's Warner Media suffered across the board revenue drop in quarter two. This was August 10th, 2020, about a week ago. This is recent information that I'm going to be looking at if I don't have AT&T and this is my company I'm looking at. I'm checking this article. I'm going to read the whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but if I was going to look at investors, I would look at it. AT&T already cut over 41,000 jobs since 2017. Time Warner has cut about 26,000 jobs. Company-wide, AT&T has cut more than 41,000 jobs. So a lot of job cuts. AT&T had 243,000 employees as of its most recent earnings report. The company has been trying to reduce its debt load since buying Time Warner. Okay, that makes sense. That's part of the reason why they have so much debt is because they acquired Time Warner, and that acquisition cost billions of dollars. The company's long-term debt was $153 billion as of June 30th, 2020, down from $168.5 billion in mid-2018. Now that's something I got to think about too. Do I have much confidence in Time Warner? Do I think the acquisition was worth it? Do I think it was a waste? These are all things you got to look at. Now this is from Barron's, which is a site I like to use for stock information and investing information as well. A giant investor bought AT&T, Microsoft, and Apple stock. Here's what it sold. One of the largest asset managers in Canada made substantial change to its U.S. traded investments. So I'd go through all this stuff, see what's going on. It talks about Microsoft and Apple. But if any type of big investor sells or buys, that's something I look at. Although I don't let it completely factor what's going to happen, it's just another piece of the puzzle, because some of these guys, they get preferred dividends, they get extra sweeteners that most people don't get because they invest such high amounts of money. That's a whole another video. I don't want to go into it, but just do some research. Certain investors do get better dividend yields because they fund aggressively. Now, next thing I do is I go on the AT&T website. I see, okay, what's AT&T doing? So what do? They got phones, they got wireless, they got internet, they got TV. I just go through the website. I'd spend a lot of time here. AT&T TV, the best of live TV and on demand. HBO Max is here. Do you know people who use HBO Max? Do you know people who have AT&T TV? Because if they do, well, guess what? They're funding the company, and if you're going to invest, that's going to help you grow your investment portfolio because their value is going to go up. All these bundles. So they got a whole bunch of stuff going on with AT&T. Now I have a good idea for them, and as I was telling you guys earlier, I look at the competitors. So let me move this over here so you guys can kind of see. So the big three in telecommunications, at least in the US, are AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Those are the big three. Now Verizon, let's just go within 1 year. This is straight off of Google, and let me go to their max. Let's do it. Actually, let's start with the max. Now, does this chart look better than this? You guys decide. Which one do you think looks better, AT&T or Verizon? I'm going to go out and say Verizon looks like the growth is better, just from the chart. Now let's look at the numbers. Verizon has 245 billion market cap about. Dividend yield is only 4%. Current share price is $59. Now, the PE ratio is at a 13, which is pretty low. But that's what you got to kind of look at. Dividend yield is 4%. AT&T is 7%. Now T-Mobile does not have a dividend yield at the moment. So for me, even though the chart looks okay, T-Mobile's already out. In order for me to invest in a company, they have to pay a dividend. That's just my personal strategy. I only own one stock that does not pay a dividend. One stock, that's it. Everything else owns dividends. So T-Mobile's just gone at this point. I'm not even gonna look at it. I'm not even gonna look at it. Right? It's Verizon and AT&T. Personally, I know a lot of people who use Verizon. I don't have Verizon. I almost got Verizon. But I know most people use Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. For me, I am also, this is a disclaimer, I am long Verizon as well, because I think Verizon is going to be a company going forward that's going to be doing very well with their subscription services and their 5G. 5G is going to be huge. It's already been growing. People are using it, all that good stuff. And like I said, the chart isn't too bad. They're a mega cap. Dividend yield is 4%, which is good. So you don't always have to necessarily pick one or the other. You kind of just want to pick the best in the industry. And for me, after I do all this research, I'm thinking, okay, Verizon and AT&T are the best. Those are going to be my big players in telecommunications. But I still do my research in AT&T. AT&T just secured $5.5 billion in new debt, as we had just mentioned. What it means for its dividend. AT&T faces tremendous financial obligations. AT&T pays the highest dividend yield among dividend aristocrats. So that's something I like. But as I had mentioned, all this stuff, I'm going to go through it if I'm looking at this company and trying to get as much information as humanly possible. See, okay, what's the debt doing? What are they buying? Is there something else that they're acquiring? Did they have a lawsuit pending? All these things you got to look at and consider. Now also, as I had mentioned, the financials. This is the one thing that I did not do when I first even bought AT&T that I should have done. But recently I have been looking at these, so I have a better idea of where the company is going, the direction. And this is just straight off of Google. I put AT&T financial report and you get all this information. I would click on everything, see what's going on here, all this stuff, click on everything. You really want to know the company, because when you're investing, it's like you own a piece of that company. And I imagine walking into a room and somebody wants to invest in AT&T, and I gotta convince them why they should invest in AT&T. So the more you know, the more you understand, the more confident you will be. And this is the best part of it all. Second quarter 2020 AT&T earnings. So as an investor, you can look at this. This is also free. Gives you a bunch of information. Our plan with a market focus on wireless, nationwide 5G and FirstNet, fiber-based connectivity for wireless, consumer, and business, software-based entertainment, HBO Max and AT&T TV, increased customer engagement, insights across all platforms, effective and efficient in everything we do. These are the 2020 priorities. Key products drive customer value proposition, brand positioning, aligning operations to our market focus, improving the experience we deliver to our customers, ramping transformation and sizing our operations to new environment, managing the impacts of the bug. So yeah, of course, with everything going on with the bug, they're trying to figure out how to manage it and navigate through all this stuff. Solid balance sheet and deliberate capital allocation, investing in strategic growth areas. Fiber, 5G, FirstNet, HBO Max. Committed to supporting the dividend, 36th year of increasing. I like that. See, that's good. 36th year of record increasing. So I asked myself, does that fit my strategy? And it definitely does. That's my strategy. I want companies that pay dividends, that increase their dividends, and pay a good one then. This is not bad. It's about, what was it, 7%? That's a good percentage for me. Reducing debt, maintain investment grade status, continued portfolio review, monetizing non-core assets. Here we go, guys. This is the best part right here. This is the best of the best. 2020, the financials in the second quarter, you can see the revenue dropped slightly. Adjusted EPS revenues of 41 billion, solid cash flow, 7.6 billion free cash flow. Continue on here. It breaks down different segments. So you have the communications segment, you have Time Warner Media segment, successful launch of HBO Max with strong engagement, subscription growth, all those things you gotta know. And also, as I was mentioning before, the Latin America segment, which AT&T has a very strong base over there. Solid second quarter free cash flow of 7.6 billion, 11.5 billion year to date. Expect incremental network benefit as 5G reach nationwide coverage today. All right, reduce labor cost, transformation, streamlining distribution, rationalizing IT systems and network operations, simplifying processes and support functions, pursuing incremental corporate rationalization. HBO Max. So here we go. This is HBO Max update. They have about 36 million subscribers, and these are some of the shows. Friends, Scoob. I've seen Friends. I've never seen Scoob. I don't know what that is. Strong customer engagement. Appeals to broader demographic with attractive and diverse content. All right, and the Q&A, there's nothing here for Q&A, but that's their earnings report. But I would go back and just look at their past earning reports and see if their goals matched what's currently happening, what they're on track to do, if they have any other type of acquisitions they're trying to get. But that page is probably one of the most important pages. The investors page, I should say, is one of the most important, because that way, now I know, okay, this is what AT&T is doing. This is the direction they're headed. This is where they're looking at financially. Now, I feel I have more information. If I was going to be investing, all this information helps me better understand, okay, do I want to invest? Do I not want to invest? Now I'm more confident to make my decision. Now, my current strategy at the moment with AT&T, I haven't been going too crazy in terms of funding them, but I might start putting a little bit more into them, because right now I think the price is kind of low. And when I started investing, it was the end of 2019, not 2019, 2018. It was end of 2018. It was about 30 a share, so it hasn't really changed too much. But like I said, the main thing for me isn't really growth in the stock. It's more the dividend consistency. If they can stay consistent and grow the stock a little bit, for me, I'm good with that. That fits my strategy. but you might have a different strategy. So you got to look at it and say, okay, what's my strategy? Do I have a whole lot of high dividend paying companies? Do I not? How much is going to make sense for me? And with that, that's what I'll do if you're trying to figure out if you want to buy at AT&T, how much you want to buy. Those are a few things to consider. All right, so hopefully, Christian, that helps you out. Thank you for your question. I know I didn't get too deep into these things. Obviously, I would spend many more hours if I was getting into this company and I had no idea what it was about. All this information, the reports, the transcripts, slide presentation, financial and operational trends, I would go through all this stuff before making my decision. But hopefully that helps you out, and anybody else who was curious about AT&T or just any stock in general. This is kind of my thought process. I spend a lot of time with it. So hopefully this helps you out, Christian. This is just what I look at when I'm investing. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, or if you have comments on what you look for that maybe I forgot to mention, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. And with that, thank you for watching. That's going to be it in this video. As always, if you're not subscribed, don't subscribe. And if you like the video, don't forget to give it a like. Until next time, peace.